allow the children to attend the budget.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun diary, diary politico. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní Ayé Sùràjù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Ayé Sùràjù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Ayé Sùràjù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Ayé Sùràjù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun máa wí, àní ẹ̀sùnragì, Maiyegun ti dé. Hello there. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Maiyegun live in that order, even though some of these stuffs are looking like a little bit blurry. I want to kind of like talk tonight without my glasses and see how much of the stuff I can do without my glasses. So as you are joining us, after reading the caption of the broadcast, read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Maiyegun today, Maiyegun is live. And thank you. Again, if you have shared the broadcast, I'll say thank you, by the way, right? So again, we are going to continue from almost where we stopped earlier today. If you joined us during the brunch time, yeah, maybe if we kind of make up the number tonight, we may have, we may take calls at some point, So thank you very much for joining me once again. And tonight, we sort of have two breaking news that can be tagged as broken news. The first one, right, putting an end to the speculation that, Atiku might be stepping down for Peter Obi. Today, Atiku's team have now confirmed that the 79-year-old Atiku will be contesting for the Nigeria presidency in 2027. So that kind of triggered other reactions. Okay, for instance, for those who knows Atiku very well, right? It is believed that once he throw his hat, in the ring, he's obviously going to get the ticket. Sort of, because the game plan, or should I say the political kind of a game plan in that contraption, is not always as, as most people call themselves experts, right? It is not as simple and as straightforward as some of them will put it, because most of them won't be that honest. So the real sort of, factors, I'll use factors. The real factors that determines who becomes what in their politics in Nigeria are those they call the delegates. So the delegates, right, would follow. There's those who would choose to become the candidate or the presidential candidate of the party. And in Nigeria, it is not about your manifesto. It is not about your ideas or what have you. It is mostly how deep your pocket is, or the pocket of your sponsor. In 2014, when the Tifnumbus and Atikus of this world were jostling to grab power in Nigeria, they needed the alleged 12 or so million votes of Buhari. So they wanted him to be their candidate. However, Atiku's ambition was on the way. It was his ambition that sort of triggered the complete breakup of PDP to start with. So Tifnumbu and others, including Amechi, they were able to pool billions of naira, and we are talking about millions of dollars together for Bokwari to bribe the then APC delegates. So Atiku's dollar and Tifnumbu and others dollars, they were clashing. Atiku was alleged to have paid more at the time. Atiku was offering them $5,000, while Tifnumbu and others, they were offering the delegates on their own, or those who were supposed to be loyal to them, they were still paid $3,500. This was in 2014. So right now, I don't think Peter Obi would have such a deep pocket to challenge Atiku, except maybe like they did for Bokwari. Yeah, they will come together, put the stolen money and all of that together, paid their own delegates to see if they can beat Atiku to it. Because right now, he is running and he's so confident that he's going to get it. Like, who else is going to get it? That's what Atiku will say. Because in their own camp, their own offer is that, in case if you have heard about it somewhere too, right? So here is their own theory. Atiku was given 6.9 million votes. Peter Obi was given 6.1, was it? 6.1 million. If you add the two together, that's a 13 million. So no matter what anyone feels, the only way to remove Tifnumbu is to bring Atiku and pair him with Obi, so that they can fuse their votes together and get rid of Tifnumbu. The theory that a lot of people have sort of like poke holes in, like, no, don't get deluded. Peter Obi's supporters are never going to support anyone else in that, and mass in that way they did in 2023, if Peter Obi is not the candidate of the party. So forget that. And similarly, there's a chance that Atiku's supporters would not vote for Peter Obi if it's the candidate is not for Atiku. So how they are going to wriggle through that is probably like waited to be seen. But right now, to you, especially the obedient, sorry, I'm already having, I hate it when things look so too blurry. So this one works well for me, right? It's like, it gives me kind of like a wide eye. And I've got this very nice eyesight. Eyeballs and eyesight, they say, but it's not long sight, so I could barely see things too far. And I hate it when I get to be seeing shadow. Sorry about that. So to you, the obedient, especially, remember what I said when they announced their coalition talk and the rest of the time. I said, number one, if you ended up going into any coalition with these rogues as obedient, match with them, you must be prepared for two things. The first one is that you will be prepared to defend the same criminals that actually like motivated you to demand for a new Nigeria. That's, your slogan, New Nigeria is possible. Because you wanted the country led by a principled person, a group of patriotic people, sympathetic leaders, and whatever description of your kind of leadership. And Obi fitted into that to some extent, right? So going into coalition with them means somehow, you are probably going to not want to call El Rufaya a terrorist or a terrorist, sponsor or sympathizer. You're going to get compromised, because in the long run, these are the crooks that if you want them to back Obi, it simply means there'll be some level of a compromise in the process. because you all know what you are delving into. You're delving into the, into the pond of sharks who don't give anything just for free, as you must know. So what does that mean? Simply means that if you are going to delve into them, you are going to have to play like them or enable whatever they are offering to play, for instance, money. So one thing that the obedient and Peter Obi and his followers achieved in 2023 was to demystify about two things. One, Northern Nigeria decides who become president in Nigeria. That is no longer true. And then number two, that you need a lot of money to get people to vote for you, right? That has also been proved to be wrong. So now you would have to actually match with people who believes in money. They don't, in fact, the main reason why they possibly just detest Obi is because he keeps telling them that they give shishi. And you are going to probably agree with me that most of those who are publicly today abusing him were most of those who once praised him. But the moment he said he wanted to be president, it spoiled business for majority of them, meaning they couldn't really get the real gig they normally get every now and then. Him becoming a presidential candidate in this regard, or even an aspirant, right, makes most of them to probably hate him. So in this case, even if he is not spending it, you probably will have to watch the thieves use their stolen money to bribe other criminals called delegates in order to, and that is not going to come for free. Do you understand? So it's like making a deal with the devils at the same time trying to be without sin. So I said that it is not to judge you, because more or less, like, as you remain their nightmare, is why I'm putting my money on you. But you just need to be very clear what you are getting involved in. So if Atiku is expected to go all the way, as he is currently doing, rather than, relate with people, because Atiku himself, like Tifnumbu and Co., they don't have real loyalists. They don't have real, sort of like a real followers. These are people who are either benefited from him, benefiting right now, or looking forward to benefiting from him. So nothing is free relating with them, and they know it. So to the rest of you who probably want to do everything like patriotically, so you are going to end up in a game that you would not be deciding. I don't know if I'm actually getting it complicated for you, explaining this, right? But in the coming days, maybe in the coming weeks, yeah, there will be more clarity. You get what I mean now? So if Atiku has declared to, regular political watchers, that simply means that, everybody will go back to their drawing board and redraw again, whatever that means. For them in PDP, right, they met in Abuja today. Okay, remember they were in Zamfara. Their governors were in Zamfara. So they called their NEC meeting in Abuja today and affirmed Damagun, their current acting chairman, as their substantive chairman, which means he's now like chairman. So not acting until when they conduct their convention in November. Again, this would be like 2 actions in 2 days, that decisions were made without Wirewike. Remember that Wirewike's group have already pulled out of their November convention to choose their leadership and whatever. So now that their NEC has made another decision to ratify that, and at the same time to affirm Damagun, and they have gone as far as announcing that they are zoning their presidential ticket to the southern part of Nigeria. There's a bit to unwrap from that, but the ceremony In short, PDP.
Audience there.
We now take the oath of office as contained in the schedule of our constitution. So they say after me. Choose to affirm. You say after me.
Yes.
I swear and affirm that I shall be faithful and bear to the I shall discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the party, and always in the interest of the integrity, solidarity, advancement, well-being, and prosperity of the party and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I shall strive to pursue, enhance, and achieve the aims and objectives of the party as contained in the Constitution and the Constitution. And I shall not allow my personal interest to influence my official decisions. And in all circumstances, I shall provide all the members of the party and all manner of things, according to law without fear and affection or evil. And I shall not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to anybody any matter which shall be brought to my attention or who shall become known to me as an officer of the party, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties. And that I shall devote myself to the service and well-being of the people of the state. Thank you very much. Our appointed chairman has taken his oath of office, so the chairman confirmed as the substantive chairman from today. And let me make the first time to congratulate the man. To thank every one of you who have made this possible today. Before now, I thought what we were doing were not being appreciated. This gesture is not to only me, but to the entire NNPC. Because I owe it to them to have navigated this party this far. I want to remind us that we came at a time when things are very hard, but to the glory of the Lord, we still are intact, one individual party. And I no doubt this has facilitated this gesture. I thank all NEC members, all PDP members that are here and at home. Thank you very much.
I'll save you your time. So the guy beside him the guy behind him on the right, that's Anyanwu. That is the weakest guy. This Damagun himself is with the weakest guy, but somehow he has collected from with the wicked because probably he's not acting the script very well. So you see that video reminds me of that popular true acronym of a PDP, the people deceiving people. Inside that room, more than 2/3 of them are for Tifnumbu. The rest of them, the remaining 1/3, right? They are where? Everybody's just lost in the entire whole illusion, like just play along and all that. A political party that was supposed to be the main opposition political party in Nigeria, and Tifnumbu treated them so trashily that he suspended a governor, suspended senator. They did so much that would have ordinarily triggered a party that was in power for 16 years, but they have been so decimated. And the majority are just using the PDP as the vehicle to continue their own chattel, in their own trade. And I think that's what is about to play out too, you know. So they have zoned their ticket to the south. The problem now be say, who will come be the southern candidate of PDP that has no link to Tifnumbu? Can you look around? Anyone? Because I am not that brainy. So you get the bandwidth of my own brain, get as far as it can go. Some of you are pretty much like you've got this bigger, larger bandwidth, right? What do you think PDP can look out for in the southern part of Nigeria that has no connection to Tifnumbu? I'll wait for you to. So in a nutshell, with a wiki that said, if Atiku doesn't leave, if Atiku remain in the party somehow, there will be no peace. Atiku left. Then it is now with a wiki versus Solo Makinde. So now he also said PDP must not make mistake by failing to zone their ticket to the south in 2027. And they have done that. Here is a reaction of someone. Listen.
Incidentally, on your appearance today, and I saw on the news, which we covered also, about your interest, but that may have had a clash with what is happening today. But let me begin. The first and the major one being the zoning of the 2027 presidential ticket to the south. What does this mean for the internal party unity and the Nigeria's broader political balance?
Okay, let me first congratulate Ambassador Damagun that the party had ratified his position now as a substantive chairman. I also want to congratulate the party for pulling through as one entity. The PDP is a very democratic party. At least you see things happening. You see caucuses meeting. Some other parties don't see that.
Albeit I miss a lot of cases.
You know, but this is what the PDP has always been from when it was founded. It's a party that will always debate fiercely internally, and at the end of the day, a decision will be taken. Now, that does not mean that when decisions are taken by organs, they are decisions which cannot be faulted. What has happened today, as you said, is unprecedented. The PDP has never zoned presidency before. In 1999, President Obasanjo, who was then General Obasanjo, contested against Alhaji Rimi from northern Nigeria and some other candidates, Dr. Alex Ekweme, etc. In 2003, as a sitting president in the villa, President Obasanjo had to contest again with Chief Barnabas Gamade from Benue, Alhaji Rimi from Kano, Dr. Ekweme again. The party never shut the door against any zone. There would always be, agitation should come from this section and others. then the caucus leaders will use their control over the delegates to influence their preference. But the party have never done what was done today by the NEC of PDP. And I say it's really unprecedented.
Unprecedented to the extent, and I'm looking.
Unprecedented. Because after that, their meeting, they said they are reserving their presidential ticket exclusively for the South. So every aspiring presidential whatever from northern Nigeria are like, by that ratification, they are barred from participating, you know. Then he went on to say, even as unprecedented as the decision, it's quite an easy peasy way for Tinubu to return. Meanwhile, it is becoming obvious that those who are in PDP now, right, they are not really interested in any 2027. From the grapevine, if Atiku should become their coalition presidential candidates, some of them in PDP, they would have to work for Atiku. So if anybody picks their ticket in the South right now, you are just there to fill in the void. Bala Muhammad and a couple of others from northern Nigeria, they are having their own ambition for 2031. But they wouldn't mind to deputize a would-be loser just to keep the ticket alive, right? There's other statements. Listen to this part.
Absolutely.
That there can be errors. So
yeah.
You imagine that this is an error?
I believe it's an error. But it could be corrected.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying by any means that those who took those decisions are not competent to do so. They are competent to do so. They are the elected people to be in NEC, but they made an error.
But so before they came to this decision, look at the processes. There are different caucuses that have met. The Governors Caucus, the Board of Trustees, all of them, the National Assembly. Before, in fact, there were caucus meetings.
No, I said as much
today.
as you are enumerating now.
Yeah.
I said it went through all the process.
Yeah.
I didn't say
it. So I'm imagining how they could have made this kind of error you're describing.
Well, it's possible. It's not a perfect organization. Any organization run by human beings can make errors.
But could it be that the party?
That's my own.
Could it be that the party
perspective? And I may be wrong. That's my opinion.
Could it be that the party have learned from what happened in 2023? You remember what happened? A group of governors who call themselves the G5 came together and said the party was unfair.
No,
said that. The zoning arrangement, I mean, the party should be fair. After 8 years of Buhari, the party should consider a southern
the
candidate.
history of the PDP did not start in 2023. Okay, the first disaster was in 2014 when Jonathan said he will be the only sole candidate. Nobody should come from other zone. And then the other people from the other zone walked out of the party and the PDP lost power. Even as a citizen.
If you were in Jonathan's shoes, wouldn't you have done the same?
Before Jonathan, we had President Obasanjo, who was a sitting president, and went to the Eagle Square to contest against
2023.
President Obasanjo in 2003 to contest alongside with Chief Gamade, and then contest again. You had Dr. Alex Ekweme came again. You have Alhaji Rimi again, who was there in 1999. You didn't feel, as a matter of fact, when we were going to the National Convention in 2003, it was still a rumor that Atiku was going to contest against President Obasanjo, up till the morning of the convention. Some governors were supporting Atiku from all over the country.
This was the convention in Jos, isn't it?
No, this is in Abuja.
It was in Abuja, yeah, Eagle Square. You're right, very much. It was in
Abuja. This was the convention where Chief Tommy Kimi was there. Obasanjo. So you remember that.
I've been around for a while.
So you cannot start the history of the PDP on our politics from when some G5 people think they hold the haze, you know. And let me tell you, this is my own position. The zone, the presidency to the south, is a default campaign for return of President Asiwaju. Because those who are mounting this campaign of zoning to the south are the same people who are saying we are in PDP, but we will work for President Asiwaju. Look at all of them, almost all of them. The same people saying, oh, we are in PDP, but we are committed to President Asiwaju's re-election, and are saying zone. So it's a default campaign for the PDP not to have a viable candidate by those people.
So this is a subtle campaign for an easy ride of Bola Tinubu's re-election.
Absolutely.
This is what you
For
think?
those who are saying it must be automatically zoned to the south,
It's a neck that is
and who are also championing President Asiwaju's re-election, are running a default campaign. Absolutely.
Do you get it now? These are the things that decides who leads you and how your vote will be directed or misdirected. These factors. You are grounding under Tifnumbu. This government must go. You wish that the opposition could put themselves together and rescue this country. And then the opposition are putting themselves together. And they're talking about the situation in the country. Oh, this country is very tough. This government has failed. But that's just for the camera. They're like magicians. You see these two hands, right? The real deceit is in one hand, while the other one does the old trick as well. You know, this one is to distract you, and the other one does the job. But you see both hands up all the time. That's exactly what they are playing you. They are playing you two hands. And most people are so distracted to see them. But they are not really hard to see. Like, Werewike has vowed that it will lead Tifnumbu's re-election in Niger Delta. They are already allocating votes. Who is going to give million, 2.5 million, 10 million, 20 million, and the rest? You are seeing the PDP politicians, you are seeing other political parties who are supposed to be the opposition. They are hobnobbing with the same wicked government that you want out. But they are telling you that it's politics. It's politics. Oh. And they are all saying the same thing, that Tifnumbu is doing well. So, but you can't just go out and remove Tifnumbu. You can't just go on and start your own party. You still have to look for these guys, Abi, in this corrupt system. Which of them is credible enough that is actually not an appendage of Tifnumbu? It becomes so difficult. Like some will say that, well, to see any, that seems like generalization of it. I wanted to say, let's say more. To see Nigerian girls, we don't like money. Now by connection, no. Now by divine connection. And the girls will be like, okay, you show me a Nigerian man, we don't like money too. So that's why I'm like, I shouldn't say that, but that's all right. They are openly fraternizing with these guys. So Werewike and others, for example, Werewike, who has actually held them down for a very long time, right? He's not hiding it. So do you think Werewike is now going to actually really support a presidential candidate of PDP? Because they know that If they say, no, you must zone into the south, they can tell a guide who is going to be that candidate from the south. Just look for one guy who go play ball, all right? Tell him that they will give him so amount of money because everybody will be taken care of. They just wanted it that way. So may Atiku and his coalition, they there. May Obi and his obedient, they here. May PDP self pretend that they have a candidate. So it makes it easier, sort of. Because if PDP should throw it open and a northerner picks the ticket and northerners go take it serious, they can spoil business. Do you get that now? For example, Peter Obi becomes their coalition candidate and Atiku is supporting him. But PDP decided to go and bring one PDP governor, the ex-governor from the north. And their campaign is that it's only PDP that care for the north. That kind of campaign like they are already doing for Tifnumbu in the north. And then they just scatter everything. So in that regard, that may even disrupt the entire plan of Tifnumbu and his gang. So that's why they insisted. And like he said, it's just an indirect or subtle way of getting Tifnumbu back. Yeah? But we'll see how that sort of like plays out. Right? Because in all of this, it's just a single factor. Or maybe this is just like a few factors of other factors that determines how your entire process is completely rigged. You still have the INEC there. I have heard that the current Mahmoud Yakub, his tenure will end in November, which is just about 2 months away, or 3 months away. Yeah. So Tifnumbu is considering choosing another person, maybe another Yoruba man, just so you know ahead, or maybe not. You don't understand. They can go to, like, they have Ojulari from Kwara. They can go to this same Kwara and just pick somebody there that's going to have the middle name like Abolaji. The rest will be, yeah? It's your next INEC chairman, you know? Or damn them and get somebody from Niger Delta as INEC chairman. I'm just saying, Sha. So, or he would have to put his trust in the same guy that made him president, Yakubu Mahmoud, and let him just renew his tenure. Because the constitution gives him that power. And he controls the National Assembly where Akwabioli and co reigns supreme, right? So all he has to do is just send a letter and that's it. He's been extending tenures of other guys, I bet illegally, and yeah, nothing has happened, nothing. So you have Mahmoud Yakubu, and then you have Kekere Ekun, Agbauli. You know that woman who is the CJN? A woman that declared somebody who came forth in an election as the winner of an election by cancelling the 90% of the vote of the real winner. And that is the woman responsible for the terrorism in eastern part of Nigeria, the insecurity in eastern part of Nigeria. I just touch to remind you, Kekere Ekun, Agbaole, by that singular judgment, Uzodinjo, Oples Uzodingba, became the president, the governor of Imo State. And from that moment on, the politically sponsored insecurity in eastern part of Nigeria started. Today, thousands of lives have been lost, while others have been made to go missing. Kekere Ekun Agbaole. He is now the CJN of Nigeria. These are the people that will determine if that get your PVC, don't get your PVC. Will really matter. And if you probably throw the coin, you all know what side it is going to be in a million times. What side she is going to be. Just thought I should say that. Like Keneri Dino was screaming at their NBA conference in Enugu yesterday.
If you speak the truth, you will die. If you lie, you will die. So I've chosen to speak the truth and die peacefully. I want to start by saying that I am personally particularly impressed with the governor of Enugu State. Because if all this is done in 2 years, we would have been very grateful in Kogi State if the boys' quarters of this building, this one outside there, is constructed in my state. I would have been appreciated my governor. So with what we have seen, honestly speaking, I was in a place yesterday called the Cultural Center, and I appreciated that because it's thinking out of the box. Why I am particularly impressed this afternoon is Your Excellency's recruitment process in appointing your political appointees. The intellectual sagacity displayed by your Attorney General and the elegantly attired lady, honestly speaking, gives me hope that if other governors, and even at the national level, we work on recruitment process, because I've interacted with some Attorney Generals in some states. This means there's no nepotism. You are not giving capital job to pillars. And maybe it's the reason behind the successes we are seeing. So please, Your Excellency, maybe you tell your colleagues in the Nigerian Governors Forum, organize a retreat and teach them how to recruit how to recruit appointees. Square pegs in square holes. Because that is one of our fundamental problems in our state and even at the national level. In the history of this country at the time, a lawyer was the group MD of NNPC. You cannot give capital job to tailors. But from their presentation this morning, it shows that your recruitment process is fire.
Was giving a shout out to Umba. But put that aside for a second, right? Koolu is currently in Brazil, by the way. But before we go to Brazil, okay, there is this clip, right, of, I think I've shared something similar with you. There's this new guy, I believe he's a police officer himself, that goes about, right, that goes about covering the extortion, like extortion in action, or covering the action of extortion by the policemen in traffic. Okay, is to probably help raise awareness that people can indeed record the actions of the policemen whenever you are having an encounter with them. So he recorded one, or maybe another one, and the culprit towards the end of the clip got me a little bit, rolling. Watch this. I'll come back to something else.
Why all those money collection? Why?
What is that?
Hello, sir.
Why are you serving me? Why are you collecting money from them?
Sir?
Why are you collecting money from them?
No problem, sir.
No, not no. Why did you collect money from them?
I didn't collect money from anybody.
But I saw it. The record is here. Did they buy anything?
Sir, I didn't collect money from anybody.
Did you buy anything from them?
But asking me to, I said I have to, sir.
Did you buy anything from
No,
them?
sir.
You did not buy anything from
sir.
them. They are civil defense.
Sorry, sir.
They are civil defense. Can't we people change? Can't we change?
I'm sorry, sir.
Can't we change? What's all this nonsense? Every state, every part, everybody's busy collecting money. You forget the primary jobs to do. If that person is carrying exhibit, how would you know when you're collecting money?
Yeah, we are trying to check them, sir.
You are not checking. You only collect. You look at how you line up vehicles. You're only collecting money.
The line is like because
You are taking money now. You are busy taking money.
No, sir. Sorry,
You are
sir.
busy taking money.
No, sir.
You are busy taking money. When the if you here in Anambra, a lot of things are going on. Armed robbery, kidnapping. Instead of it to check vehicles. So when you see somebody putting on a good cloth now, you see you hear the person, you give you 1,000 a pass.
Don't do that, sir.
But you are doing it before me. You are doing it now.
Do that, sir. I can't do that, sir.
But you are doing it.
I can't do that, sir.
It's all right. No problem.
The madman kept saying that I can't do that, sir. I can't do that, sir. Right? You will see them mount roadblock on the road, and you will think the purpose was probably to stop and search and ensure that, you know, there's no any criminals, you know, slipping through them. Like if you go to anywhere in the world, I want to believe when I say anywhere, I mean every sane country in the world, there will be only two reasons. Maybe there will be more, but two reasons why the police will mount a roadblock. Do you understand that? Two reasons. So it is either there is no road there, maybe there's disaster and the road has collapsed and they have to be there to keep redirecting people to another path and say, no, go this way, you know, to safety. Right? And the possible reason why they are going to mount any roadblock on the main road or any road at all in any real country will be because they have received an intel, right? That some criminals or some dangerous stuffs are about to pass through that area, and to ensure that they didn't pass the area, right? So the next thing would be mount the roadblock, the checkpoints, so that everyone passing will be screened. You check everything that is going through. But in Nigeria, that's not the reason. That's not the reason. The only reason why you will see the policemen mount roadblocks in Nigeria, they will say they are doing stop and search. No, they're just there to collect bribes from as many cars as possible. And it's actually a sort of like a gig that most of these policemen even pay so much money for. Have you seen that before? Have you heard that before? Yeah, policemen pay to be posted to the road to go and start extorting money from the road. It's not a gig where we say that we just say you are a policeman, yeah, go to the road. No. Some of them pay, right, to be put up with a squad that goes on the street to extort people. If you don't have if you are not lucky enough, if you don't have money to get posted with them, then they will just put you inside the station. Yeah, that's what they call it, the station. They will put you inside the station to be working there as a police officer. If you have money, you bribe the Oga. Oga will say, hey, Jasper, now Corporal Martins will follow you for today's patrol. So that if you say, Corporal Martins don't settle Oga be that. So they will now start taking him through the process of extortion. So if kidnappers are coming, you can have somebody inside your trunk, the trunk of your car, gag them and all of that. and get to these checkpoints, all you have to do is just give them 1,000 naira or 2,000. They will just flag you on there. Go, move. It's never for security. A few times, though, they've actually really said they've arrested people with guns when they are doing their stop and search. But that is just the random one. You get? They're just random. So those who are supposed to protect the people are even responsible for endangering their lives. Unfortunate, isn't it? So Koolu is in France. He is on a state visit. And there's so many of them, right, that are currently in France. On the last count, they said they had about 6 different jets that took them to France. Koolu left Yokohama in Japan for this Brasilia in Brazil. All right. And he was welcomed with a military kind of like parade, you know. So it is reported that in 2024, the total volume of trade between Brazil and Nigeria was put at $1 billion. And mostly sugar, cereal, or what have you, you know. So with Tinubu promising that he's signing a multi-billion dollar this, multi-billion dollar that, right? So they are currently in in Brazil rather. They're currently in Brazil, okay? So to sign you multi-billion dollar deals, I think. So from his arrival yesterday, those who welcomed him were the same people who saw him off to Japan. So governors, ministers, their own aides, everyone is in Brazil right now, like a lot of them. So from last night to this afternoon, before the dinner that they hosted him to this evening in Brazil, right? Let's take a tour.
Perfeito, obrigado.
So that's a Koolu. Like we just have to do like cha-cha-cha like that. And then the Kaduna governor, Ubasani, Abina Bankers, Bankasoni, right? Last night, by the way, I think I spoke with the TV Nigeria to give an idea of what they expect to bring back to Nigeria from Brazil, according to him. You want to listen? And there's a speech of Koolu too, just for this session, okay? We'll come back to that. Yes, Sonny.
For you, what value will this add to your state, Kaduna?
Thank you very much again for that. Let me first thank you for this opportunity. And again, of course, I heard what my friend and brother, Honorable Sunday Dare, have just said. And of course, it's for me to affirm what he have just said. For us in Nigeria, this visit to Brazil is very important, particularly for subnationals, governments. And of course, just like he said, this is the third visit in about less than 2 years. And of course, you will agree with me that we have a lot to benefit from this very important visit, where we're going to discuss a number of issues. Some of the issues we will discuss have to do with issue of agriculture, issue of renewable energy, issues around skill development, as well as aviation investment, industries, and many other areas. And of course, you will agree with me that Kaduna is one of the leading states in agricultural development in Nigeria. We have about 42% of our GDP that agriculture contribute. Not only that, about 60% of our force is in agriculture. And that is the reason why when I came in as the governor, I looked at the budget of agriculture and I decided to move it from 0.5% that I inherited to about 12% as we're speaking, to ensure that we meet the Malabo declaration of at least 10% by subnational and national governments. And of course, I'm happy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has established a very important relationship with President Lula da Silva of Brazil. It's a relationship that has been established on the basis of mutual respect and looking at the opportunities by both countries. And of course, if you look at the level of opportunities that we will certainly be able to achieve in this very short visit, you will agree with me that when we are talking about agriculture, let's look at even livestock sector. For instance, Brazil export about 200,000 metric tons of beef. They are the leading exporter of beef globally. The next is Argentina with about 50,000 metric tons. And in Kaduna, we are investing heavily in livestock development, apart from the fact that we are also leading Kaduna. We are talking about maize production. We have been sorghum. We are leading in Nigeria. That is the reason why we became the first state in Nigeria to establish or to commission or to do the groundbreaking of a special agro-industrial processes that certainly will industrialize agriculture, transform agriculture, create jobs,
yes,
and address the problem of poverty and increase productivity in our own state. So, in essence, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
I hear you, sir.
I've been someone that has done a lot, and let me even clear this area. The reason why we're all here is simply because President Bola Ahmed has stabilized the economy in Nigeria. because when you look at the time he came in, a lot of investors globally don't want to come to Nigeria to invest. Let me give you one example before I move on. The issue of even the $7 billion backlog that he was able to clear in the area of forex, that has really increased the level of confidence by investors who can come to Nigeria, invest, and repatriate their profit. When he came in, there was a lot of problems. Some of the reforms he initiated.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
These are the problems. When you have criminals holding sensitive government positions, and they will confidently, right, face the camera, and they will be rolling out lies, fake statistics, because they are very sure that nobody is really going to fact check them. And when you now look back later in a year or two and you ask them, well, you told us that you have this, so what happened? They will tell you another story. Number one, farming in Kaduna, from the time immemorial, was never number one in Nigeria, farming, whatever. And it has never been. And it is not, and it has never been. Well, we all know why. As the insecurity sort of like escalated in northern part of Nigeria, the real sector affected by over 90% of its productivity got destroyed in the last 10 years. The criminal politicians, just for optics, you will see them. They will gather people and tell you that they are distributing fertilizers. Some will even like display tractors, farm tools, and tell you that that's what they are now using in their state. And when you are using commercial, like, mechanized farming, so to say, you are expected to have more yielding sort of like a production. That is not the case with these rogues. It is all for optics and that. And even in the video, they were showing you farmers who are using hoes and cutlasses. Now that one go feed the nation. Now that one go end food inflation. People where they use cutlass and hoes. But criminals like this goes all over the place and don't even ask about how much billions that they have expended or they are currently spending on this trip. But you know something? In the last 2.5 years, majority of them have been following Tifnumbu all over the place. Guess what? In the last 2 years, it's only been about 2 or 3 states in the entire Nigeria that have attracted any foreign direct investor. Shebi Tifnumbu, they signed multi-billion-dollar deal here and there. This will be the 3rd time it's going to be to that same Brazil in 2.5 years. And mind you, the 2nd time in the space of 2 months. It was there in July. Now he's there. Oh, hang on. It was actually July. He was there last month. He was there last month. Now he's there again now. They told you about this, they are Brazilian, this sign, this or that. But despite all of them following him everywhere, Tifnumbu has not been able to attract any direct investor to Nigeria in 2.5 years. Any major investor. Other than them going on their media announcing bogus this, bogus that. And that's why all you can see with Tifnumbu, right, is that he's been awarding all these contracts, trillions and trillions of naira contracts to his friends who have been also facilitating his meetings in some of these international engagements. Tifnumbu the other day displayed that they imported, how many? They imported 2,000 tractors. I saw them all. And yeah, don't ask me about the person they gave the contract to. That's not the point for now. Right? But where are those tractors? Anyway, so they are in Brazil, Sha. The liar said that 45% of the IGR is from agriculture. Ask him what he's been planting and where have they been planting and harvesting that. You get? It's unfortunate, but Koolu himself, right, had a speech written for him. But before I go to Koolu, the guy who volunteered to be Koolu's campaign manager in 2027, Bago, has declared that there is no hardship in Niger State. So I decided to share the first video that pops up after he said that. It is the video of a dilapidated school, a community school in that same state. Niger State is also rated as one of the poorest states in Nigeria today, unfortunately. However, criminal politicians from all these places are giving themselves different awards. Yeah, they are organizing different awards for themselves, patting themselves on the back, clapping and giving themselves standing ovations for doing the most wonderful job for their people, right? So the first video, and that is absurd statement. Listen to this.
There is no hardship in Niger State. What used to be the price of food? What is the price of food today? So significantly, people just say that because we are not talking. And that's why I've taken the responsibility.
I go to the market.
No, to drive.
I go to the market.
Yes. How much is a bag of rice today?
Oh, it's still expensive.
It's not expensive.
It is.
How much is minimum wage? We've doubled your minimum wage. Triple.
Relative.
Minimum wage used to be 30,000. Now it's 80,000.
It's 70.
No, in Niger State it's 80,000. This is how we're paying.
You made it 80,000.
For state and local government, yes. So we've done a lot. The reform of the president, you know, my father, you know, Aswaju is my father, you know, and I'm proud to say it everywhere. But I will tell you, I have taken it as a responsibility to become the Director General of the Aswaju campaign for 2027. And that is why the turnout of voters for the by-election was massive.
It was.
People are happy. We've built their roads, they are secured, nobody terrorizes them again, you know, and they're happy. And this place used to be, you know, governed by terrorists, but now we are peacefully living. The people are excited, you know, they've gone back to their farms, production has increased, they have inputs from the farm, everything is working.
So what do you
But you see, when you have economic policies, the shock will come in. But it depends on how you also adjust. So the adjustment is what people don't want to say. And that is why we need to educate people. Did Aswaju spoil the schools? No, he's trying to fix them. Did he spoil the hospitals? No, he's trying to fix them. Did he spoil the roads? No. So when somebody is coming as a Mr. Fixer to fix the economy, I think Nigerians should come and support him. And let me tell you, we have an unwritten understanding that power devolves from the north to the south. Unless somebody is an enemy of Nigeria, you will not.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Dishonest bunch. Niger State is one of the most hit states by the Fulani terrorism. It's also the place where they have the highest number of ungoverned areas in Nigeria today. When we're mentioning states with ungoverned areas are the areas where the terrorist states are fully in control. Nigeria government, Nigerian security agents, they've abandoned the people in those areas. But look at that. So people with that kind of mindset who are investing so much in the media, believing that they can use the media, right, to change the narrative from what people are feeling to what they want them to possibly feel while they wait for a better deal. Characters like that with confidence, because they just wanted to sound like the, you know, pure like sycophants, so to say. They want to sound so supportive. And in the process, right, they are making more and more, you know, mockery of themselves. But as they say that you can't really shame the shameless, just look through them and see when you see shameless people in the position of authority who are working on their own kind of like a statistics that they pulled out of their asses, yeah, unreliable statistics, and they are planning development, security, and others based on, God damn it, based on this imaginary statistics. How do you get results? You won't. Once you have dishonest people in the public place. Mind you, let's go to the boring part. Koolu, that dinner they organized for him in Brazil. Here.
President Lula,
Presidente Lula,
presidente
da República
of Brazil,
Federativa do Brasil,
to the people of Brazil,
ao povo brasileiro,
particularly the leaders of government,
chefes e líderes de governo, a todos honrados ministros de ambos os países, membros do nosso grupo empresarial. Eu ouvi atentamente meu amigo, meu irmão, Presidente Lula. Nós tivemos uma discussão longa. Falamos sobre a história, sobre a herança africana e brasileira. E tentamos desvendar por que é que nós ainda não estamos no nível que queríamos estar. Nós já permitimos muitos problemas e muitas atividades no passado. E isso nos deteve, de certa maneira, e impediu o progresso e nossas promessas. Mas hoje dissemos, hoje isso acaba. É a minha terceira visita ao país, atendendo o convite pronto e o amor do presidente Lula. Para fins de parceria, primeiro a visita no G20, depois eu vim na mudança climática, no BRICS, e hoje, cá estou hoje, uma visita oficial, uma visita de Estado, no momento muito emotivo, mas com uma discussão baseada em fatos que tivemos hoje pela manhã. Então eu quero lhe agradecer, Presidente Lula, porque estamos então fazendo essa oportunidade, não só vendo a linguagem e o idioma que nos separa, que são barreiras, mas também a possibilidade que nós temos à nossa frente. Hoje, nós estamos lutando e trabalhando arduamente para trazer a nossa soberania para um nível que somente juntos poderemos desenvolver nossas economias para auxiliar na nossa soberania. Concluímos em vários assuntos, como transferência de tecnologia. Nós temos uma população muito jovem na Nigéria que está incansável, uma população que está pronta para a guerra, para trocar ideias, está pronta para melhorias. Uma população que vai utilizar essa oportunidade. Eles sabem que o Brasil tem os ativos que nós precisamos.
Anyway, that's a Koolu. So I was just telling them that, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for Nigeria and Brazil, despite the language barrier, an opportunity for everybody to explore in both countries. So you should just go and look at what do you think you can do. Mind you, right, they signed an agreement, an aviation agreement that you can now fly directly from Nigeria to Brazil. Fraudsters Otobokeyamo was there to pen the paper. Maybe that's something. Do you get that now? So they can fly from Nigeria. You can have a stopover in that country that Tifnumbu gave them free education and sent nurses and doctors to be paid for by Nigeria to their country. What's that country's? What's the name of the island again? Anyway, there was a Koolu in Brazil. Everything else that you're probably going to read about it are just going to be the other cooked up lies to let you know that Tifnumbu's reform is coming back later. Not now, it's coming later. So if you are struggling right now, don't worry. Just pray that that struggle no kill you. Here you get. So, and if it kills you, right, maybe your children will enjoy it. That is the message that Tifnumbu's handlers and others are sending to Nigerians. Right. Here is the Ojulari, the NNPC GMD, appointed by Tifnumbu, almost got removed by Tifnumbu's paramour, and then he got saved by rats. Now, he was talking about the oil theft in Nigeria. And I think we've said that on this platform before as well, right? Those who are stealing Nigeria crude oil, they are not just some unemployed youth hanging about in Niger Delta with buckets to steal crude oil. This is an organized crime against Nigeria that involves, as they say it, international syndicates with their local collaborators, the insiders. So Ojulari was talking to the security guys, talking about the increased in surveillance and other stuff. And I just thought I should probably just add it to this chat tonight. Something for, yeah.
Vital resources, which remain the backbone of our economic growth. Therefore, this gathering is a strategic avenue to strengthen military chiefs of defense staff, support and collaboration across the continent, and to develop strategic security architecture that are fit for purpose, in line with our continental aspirations for growth, development, and security of lives and property. Security forms a key pillar of the energy business and therefore plays a very important and strategic role in achieving our national, regional, continental energy security goal. I'm speaking as the head of the largest national oil company on the continent, the NNPC Limited. We have seen the benefits of the collaboration within the security space with significant improvements in our operating environment. The dilapidating impact of crude theft, low pipeline availability, and attacks are issues that have becoming stories of the past for us. And this has come from the immense and intentional efforts of our government security and intelligence agencies across the nation, and in particular within the Niger Delta. Today, I can proudly report to you all that our pipelines and terminal receipts of crude oil that was somewhere as low as 20-30% some periods back, we are attaining close to 100% due to the support of the security forces and intelligence agencies. Again, this achievement would not have been possible without the professionalism, the discipline, the collaborative spirit of our defense and security institutions. We at NNPC Limited hold this partnership in the highest regard. We also know that crude theft and its attendant illegal activities are by no means a purely localized occurrence. Rather, these operations involve sophisticated international syndicates that take advantage of gaps within the states, national, regional, and continental security architecture to conduct their illicit activities. It is therefore imperative that forums such as these are encouraged with a view to strengthen strategic, tactical, and operational activities within the continent. Africa must take its destiny into its hands and chart a collective way forward that meets the goals and aspirations of our people. As stakeholders within the energy industry and in
He has no job. He has.
It's just what's there. Everything there is just a word salad. Okay? It's like sitting in a room and you are facing the thieves. So you are pressing them. At the same time, you are asking them to please increase their surveillance of those who are stealing the crude oil, who themselves are international syndicates that works with the internal saboteurs. Nigerian soldiers, right, have been caught in active oil bunkering, right? Nigerian Navy, they have been caught guiding, providing security for a vessel that just stolen crude oil from Nigeria. These events are publicly documented. They are not being made. I'm not making it up. They are publicly documented. So if the NNPC chair says, well, you know what, we have a reduced oil theft, but we still have oil theft. So we just need the military, the security guys to improve their work. You are doing well so far, but we just want you to possibly cut down the stealing. That is how messed up Nigeria is. Okay. When Ojulari leaves the room and he's in his car, probably with somebody close to him, he will ask them, what do you think? Do you think that message is all right? Like, did you watch their faces? Like, were they angry? As well, when those guys inside the room also leaves, the culprits who are responsible for the stealing of Nigeria crude oil, or at the same time attending the security meeting on how to stop the stealing of Nigeria crude oil. So when they leave, they will be asking themselves, do you think he meant what he said? And they will laugh and say, well, even if he meant it, how is he going to carry it out without us? So he's still going to need us. So in the long run, it turns to business as usual. Nigeria loses, but they win. Because that's what they have been doing so far. Privatizing the Nigerian, national resources and the proceeds from it. Okay. Then leading the country to the path of indebtedness, a perpetual one. It is their modus operandi. So by the time, the former guy that's the Melek Yari guy. He hasn't been arrested. He's on the run since he left the office after doing everything to satisfy Tifnumbu by putting up all these fake news. For example, the entire media attention given to the fraudulent Port Harcourt Refinery, Warrior Refinery, the two refineries that Mele Kyari spent over $3 billion in fixing, right? He did all of that to quickly, like, they bought a generator, started the entire plant, turned it on, and they took videos, brought in trucks, made them believe that they are loading from the gantry. I mean, the gantry of the newly refurbished refinery. Then a few days after that, it got shut down. 2 weeks after that, they announced that the newly refurbished refinery is now going back to maintenance. So they've shut it down since, they've shut it down since April or thereabout for maintenance. So Mele Kyari ran away from Nigeria since then. There was a time they said he was in Qatar. There was a time they said he was in UAE. And there was another time that they said he was in London. Nobody knows where he is exactly, but the government of Nigeria knows where he is. So currently, they said they've frozen about 4 bank accounts of his with the balance of over 660 million naira bank accounts linked to him. So by the time Ojulari is going to be done, the story is going to be the same. How many of you remember Maiyegun General? Yeah, the guy that died during the COVID, you know, that short man. Yeah, the guy appointed by Bukwari. The one that took the supposed check, you know, paid by the new or the extended licenses, the oil block licenses. And they paid. This was in 2016. Bukwari was a vegetable in London. Abba Kyari was alive then, remember? Maiyegun General, Abba Kyari, they are dead now. $25 billion, supposed renewed license fee. Till today, nobody is even asking for the money. Among other money that got so stolen by this NNPCL, Abina NNPC. So Nigerians have always been losing. While the same supposed, you know, the biggest oil company or national oil company in the entire Africa, right, also remain the only oil company in the whole world that has never made any profit. Mele Kyari and his gang, at a point like Tifnumbu, just to make Tifnumbu look good, they were doctoring all these statistics, all these numbers. And they said, oh, for the first time, we have made a profit. How? Where is the money? The money, the profit, or whatever it's called, nobody can actually see or tell where it is right now. So the whole business is just like somebody will come in and tell you, we have to do it differently. What they are doing here is not right. But it's all lies, just words. So then they said, oh, this Ojulari came and said, you know what? The refineries are not working. How? They were working. They were just fixed. They told us it's working. No, it's not working. Oh, really? Then what's going to happen to people like us that they called enemies or the bearers of bad news? The people who don't want Nigeria to excel just by asking questions about their supposed feats, achievements. So they called us names. They called us enemy of Nigeria. They always call me that though, the Ronukus especially. But most of the time, I have always been right? Because just ask questions. You can see through these guys. It's not that hard. But they have done so well in gaslighting the people to make them feel like asking questions means you are unhappy or you hate the place. Why the real enemies of the place are being allowed to get away with all kinds of crimes, you know? It's crazy. So that's how they run it, right? Then Ojulari came and said, oh, yeah, the refineries are not working. In fact, you know what? I don't want to take Nigerians through the same path we've always been, and that is to go and borrow money. They borrowed money to fix that those refineries. Oh, do you understand? Nigeria is so broke that the supposed NNPC that should, oh God, I'm going deeper now, and I have to, okay? So take a look at it this way. When Nigeria was extracting, should I say, 1 million barrels, okay? the NNPC of Nigeria automatically just swallow the money. But when you start doing the calculation, right, even though Nigeria doesn't really extract our own crude oil, it just takes rent. I think it's a 40 or 45% or something. And then they take taxes from these oil companies as well, just to augment whatever it is they are getting from the crude oil, right? So if you have 1 million barrels every day, 1 million barrels of crude oil, and that is what these oil companies are declaring. Not like Nigeria actually have the data of every oil cap, oil block cap. That cap is when they drill the crude oil, right? At the top, they cap it. So if they remove the cap, they had the drill, and that's when they start pumping it. So that's what you have as an oil block from that moment. So every tap, they can tell you how deep and what is the deposit. Oh, this one has 1 million barrels. Or this place, so it's got the capacity for 200 million barrels. So like that is like tank like that. Sure, you get. So just think about it this way. 1 million barrels at $70 per barrel every day. That is $70 million every day. So if you have a 30 days, for instance, 30 days, that's going to be how much? 7 million times 30 days. That's going to be $210 million dollars. Is that? Yeah, it should be. So $210 million dollars, right? That will possibly give Nigeria at least 45% of that. So that should probably give Nigeria something around $100 or $95 million dollars. In the long run, I think. My math is rusty, right? However, when you now announce that you are making more, okay, that you are making more, or you are pumping more crude oil, right? So now let's go to 2 million barrels. So 2 million barrels of crude oil, automatically using that same calculation, right, can be put as at $420 million. So from that $420 million, maybe Nigeria will still get like $180 million. And overall, Nigeria may actually get up to $200 million, right? That's not a lot of money though. That's why I'm thinking my math is very rusty. But using the data I've provided, we are still within reach. So you can then use the right data, the right figures in that same formula. You get where I'm going, right? So 55% of the Nigerian oil proceed doesn't go to Nigeria, it goes to these oil companies. So Nigeria gets 45%. From that 45%, they have to divide it into three: the federal, the state, and the local governments, right? Now, these guys went to go and take a loan of $3.5 billion, okay, to fix their refineries. While they lied to people that they are fixing refineries, for these years when Mele Kyari was your GMD of NNPC, right? So all this proceed of money, whether not 200 million or whether not $100 million or whatever it is, so all this money, right, they were completely phased out. They were meant to be remitted into the federation account to bind and no remit. Together now. So bind, that means no shishi was remitted because they said they were using the money to pay for well subsidy. So when Tifnobu came and removed their subsidy, right, it was more or less like, okay, what are they going to say they are using the money for right now? I don't know. Then it came back to be a lie that their refineries are working. No one has been arrested so far. No one is going to be arrested or jailed anyway. Because while you are still wondering about how much those ones stole, right, you realize that the ones that replaced them, they are already continuing from where those ones stopped, which makes it, Oduduwa Emefiole, another guy who is running their economy in that contraption, is their central bank governor, Kadibi or Kadobi, Oduduwa Emefiole. That one, right, when they first came, is part of those who created the lies that Tinubu cleared Forex, right? The lies around that, I've kind of like, exposed that a while back, okay? And they're just too many. And they love repeating them. As long as they keep repeating and repeating and repeating them, unfortunately, they started believing them. They started believing their own lies. For me, I'm going to recap it. So when Tinubu came, if you will remember, the international airlines operating in Nigeria, they couldn't take their money out of Nigeria simply because Emefiele, Bokwari, they have stolen and looted the money. Yeah. And how did they do that? You see, when you buy your airline tickets from any part of the world and where have you, okay, to Nigeria, it is believed that, you see that part where their transactions were done in Nigeria, that money goes straight into their designated bank accounts in Nigeria. So their deal with Nigeria was that every time they are ready to repatriate their money from their bank in Nigeria, it will be released to them in dollars equivalent. That was their deal. So by the time Bokwari and his gang finished with Nigeria, there was no Forex anywhere. So the money was like, back then, the money was put at, they said the money was 2 or so trillion naira. No, hang on, how much is $10 billion dollars? So back then, the exchange rate then was about 400 naira to $1. So their balance in Nigerian's bank was somewhere, I think 4 trillion or something. Okay, yeah, I think it's 4 trillion or something. Equivalent of about $10 billion. So since Nigerian government or Nigerian central bank couldn't provide the money at the time, and they realized that they were not going to get their money because the Central Bank of Nigeria was telling them that they will give them dollars. They will give them naira because naira is Nigeria currency. So they unleashed the social media and their vuvuzela's in APC to go after these airlines. They are enemy of Nigeria. This is Nigeria. We are spending naira. Why are they demanding for dollars? Anyway, some of them just got mad. They left. So when Tinubu came, right, he went to UAE, remember, Dubai? And to go and see the Emirates, right? And he was told that the visa ban on Nigeria will be lifted if Nigeria is willing to pay back that money. So Tinubu and his gang, they now said, it's not that we don't want to pay, but the money is, because Nigerian naira has already crashed. So if we have to use the value of that your $10 billion now, we are now looking at somewhere around 15 trillion naira. So to Nigeria, that is like something that was 4 trillion. And if you have to go and buy them their dollars now, you will need about 14, 15 trillion naira. So, and they are saying the offer they had for these airlines was, we would abide by that 4 trillion, which was the money you put in our bank. So we'll get that for you. And you can go exchange it to dollars as you want. And we can give you the equivalent of that 4 trillion naira in dollars. So that means if they accepted that deal, they will lose over 60% to 70% of their money. So some of them rejected it. Or 3 or 2 of them accepted it to cut their losses. So Tinubu's regime, finally, they were able to release a total of $2.1 or $2.2 billion in naira equivalent, which was back then was around, I think, 8 or 7 trillion naira. So Tinubu and his gang now went straight to town. That Tinubu has cleared the this 7 billion have been a 10 billion backlog of this airline. They continue to push that, by the way, because they believe it as its achievement, you know. So, anyway, the Oduduwa Emefiole, whose economic idea, I believe, of monetary policies is said to be working, also went to the Afrexim Bank. It's called the Afrexim Bank, African Export and Import Bank. Okay, they went there to go and borrow $3.3 billion. You know what they used the money for? I said it on this platform, right? They lied to their followers and Nigerians that Tifnumbu floated the naira, a fancy word for devaluation. Tifnumbu devalued Nigerian naira simply because of the loans they are giving to him. In the process, they lost control of it. And just like a crashing jet, naira was going on a, unbreakable spiral. So that's why they went to the Afrexim Bank to take a $3.3 billion loan. And the collateral, a 175 million barrels of crude oil, worth over $12 billion, if Nigeria failed to pay back $5.5 billion, which includes the capital, the loan, and the interest by 2028. So if Nigeria failed to, this borrower, I mean, the lender, they will come to Nigeria and take whatever it is, the crude oil allocation from any part of Nigeria until they extract 175 million barrels of crude oil. Koolu. And this is what Kadobi had to say, borrowing money to defend Naira and telling their supporters that Tifnumbu's policies floated Naira. And right now, Nigeria economy has stabilized. You know what that means, right? It simply means that it is no longer kind of like, crashing. So it has stabilized for a while at 1,600 Naira to $1. So you as a businessman, at least you can plan on it 1.6. You don't have to cry about it that it was 200 Naira to $1 before these criminals took over. To a businessman, they just need that stability to say, if now 2,000 you want the Naira to be, put out for 2,000. If it is 5,000 you want the Naira to be, put it at 5,000, but not 2,000 today, 2,003 tomorrow. Before evening tomorrow, it has come down to 1.8. That fluctuation, that is another one that Okonjo Iweala said, which Tifnumbu and his gang literally took to heart. The Nigeria economy is now stable. Anyway, just listen to this Kadobi. They were asking him about their defending Naira, which they denied severally, but he's admitting to it in a subtle way.
Know exactly where we are headed in that direction, but it's certainly something that we are looking at. We're looking at that. Defending the Naira, which from every indication seems to be an elephant in some room. Now, I want to try and make this as clear as possible. It is not our intention to defend the Naira. It is not. And much as I have read in the recent few days some opinions with respect to what is happening with our reserves and the central bank defending the Naira, if you think back to what our overall policy and philosophy has been here, you can see it's counterintuitive. Okay, basically what we're encouraging is for the markets to willing buyer, willing seller, price discovery. And ultimately, I perceive a future where central bank will really not need to intervene, okay, except in very, very unusual circumstances. What is important to us is that there's sufficient liquidity in the market, which I've spoken about here today. Fine, 1 billion is the outlier, sometimes it's 600, 700 million US, as the case may be, and that will continue, hopefully. So as long as we have a vibrant currency market, why do we need to go in there to intervene? We don't need to. I can understand that, especially at the outset, there have been little cases where the Bureau de Change, the BDC, there was a need to get that segment going. And, you know, small amounts of money, relatively tiny amounts of money have gone into that to catalyze that happening. Because it's important that, again, individuals have access to funds to send abroad, their kids abroad and do things which are important, health, etc., etc. So it's important not to keep them out of the mainstay. So that, yes. But in terms of intervention, frankly, that's really not our intention at all to intervene in the market. And what you see with respect...
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
In the era, Shena, me and you, they send our children abroad. You watching me from Nigeria right now. Are you one of those that send their children abroad or goes abroad for medical treatment? Eh? He said, no, we're not intervening. We're not intervening at all. You know, we are just defending the Naira, you know, $1 billion here, 600 million US there. Now you will think that they are actually running a country where this $1 billion here, and $600 million there, that they were pulling the money from a very buoyant economy and investing it in somewhere. So if you are defending the Naira, is that not you intervening in the market? We're not intervening per se. You know, we're just releasing liquidity. People want to send these children to school, politicians, and go abroad for medical, politicians. And we're just trying to put money in it, but we're not intervening. Oh, it is well. It'll be like this lady that collected transport money from somebody she met online. After collecting 30,000 naira, she took the money and she bolted. This individual saw a part of Nigeria constitution that actually criminalizes that. It is called OBT. No, sorry. Yeah, OBT. Obtaining by trick. And it is punishable. So Alaye took it personal, took it to court. And the court ruled, right, that the lady was wrong and you shouldn't have taken somebody's money if you have no intention of honoring their invitation. So you will now pay 450,000 naira in fine. They shall say, "Omo, wetin we carry, wetin that they throw." Person carry candle, una carry deep freezer. You won't throw am deep freezer. Waiting still. I mean, waiting carry. Waiting you won't throw.
Well, that's na Jennifer Gapu, Emmanuel 450,000. We will go chill go now. In the go maka oboda no. Because of Rika, he was saying, "Abro no kuro ega." Emmanuel Jennifer Gaga Mpola Are Isa. Otu akampu ya. Court
God, don't be a Jennifer. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you some other time. Good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun Diary, Diary political.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.